Tales from the Tavern was recorded in front of a live Twitch audience.
I'm Commander Shepard, and Tales from the Tavern is my favorite stream on Twitch.
Hello everybody, welcome back to this week's episode of Tales from the Tavern. It's so nice to see you all here with me today. I hope you all had a great week since the last time we were here. And we're going to just jump right in and start off with some introductions. I will say, though, you can see that right here on the stream, we have Steve the Baby Dragon is back again this week. He's very quiet. He's very shy. He doesn't like to talk. He only likes to sit there and play with his D20. So you'll only get four guests and me this week. So thank you so much for the cheer. I appreciate you. And we're going to start right around by doing some introductions, letting you know who we have that's going here, and then we will tell you a little bit about how the stream works. So, Cece, we're going to start with you. Tell everybody about who you are and where we can find you around the internet.
Fantastic. Well, hey, I'm Cece, and I'm the creative director and the DM for a Blades in the Dark actual play stream called I'm a Medic Mori. This is a story where we take a look at the face of madness and have ourselves a good laugh at it. Because we need we need a bit of levity in this crazy world that we have it. You can find me on Twitter at cc.dot and my show Fridays 7:30 CST at DMDM Studios, twitch.tv DMDM Studios.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. You've been here once before, so I appreciate you coming back. It's always great to have you. And speaking of DMDM Studios, Derek, tell us a little about you.
That's me. I'm Derek. No, thank you for that. I am I do a lot, but mostly you can find me streaming pretty much every day on twitch.tv/DMDM Studios. I run 7 actual plays each week, not 7 a week, but 7 total. We do Friday, as CC just said, that kicks off our weekend with I'm a Medic Mori. Then we have alternating games on Saturdays. And then on Sundays we have Legend of Five Rings. One of my players, Led Sozo Beans, is in chat. And then the host for the L5R stream is also in chat, Haven RPG. So, shout-outs to you guys. Thank you for being here. I do maps, and I make people's lives miserable for fun.
Beautiful. I love it. And we do have, coming up during the break, you can actually see a trailer for that stream that Cece was just talking about, too, so you can check that all out. The Inkden, thank you so much for the cheer. I super appreciate you. And that triggered a hype train, so just saying.
Let's go.
Hype train. So we're going to skip over Steve the Baby Dragon. As you can see, he's busy playing with his D20. And let's go talk to Keone, who is a longtime listener, first-time caller.
You're very true about that. Hello, everyone. I am Keone, a.k.a. Keone the Dim, and I am a TTRPG player, a streamer, and a podcaster. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, or the Twitch at Keone the Dim. That's with the underscores, where I stream various games every Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I've been streaming a lot of horror games lately, which is one of them is Phasmophobia. Have you guys ever heard of that one? Yeah,
That's a fun
it's
one.
so I'm afraid of jump scares, so that really jitters me like big time. But I love to play it. I also have another channel with my wife. Yes, I said that. Wife, Jim the Dim. We also stream various games, and we have a section called Dim's Dinner Date. So he cooks up some food while we're talking and we're bantering, and he shows us and shows you guys how to make the food as well. That's one. Jim the Dim and I also have a podcast called Spirited Spooks, where we tell ghost stories while drinking cocktails pertaining to the topic. So you can find that on any podcast that you listen to called Spirited Spooks. You can find us, me and Jim, at Jim the Dim on all platforms. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Awesome. I'm super excited to have you here. I love your dinner date streams. Those are just a lot of fun, and they're really, really fun to just hang out and chat with you guys. So, yay! So thanks for coming on and hanging out here. And Wolfie, tell us about you. You got some stuff coming up. You're also muted.
You're also muted.
I love sitting here talking on mute because that's the way things are.
Bada bing, bada boom.
And if you're a Patreon, you even get a reminder sticker that you're on mute.
Oh, wait, it's right there. I did that intentionally because we're not talking about me. We are talking about Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, when you can check out our new Esper Genesis campaign, Esper Genesis Revelations. Come join us as the crew of the Asimov goes out and finds a new something that has galactic consequences. It'll be hosted by Mr. Atomic Zero and will be featuring me, Call Me They, Harley Hero, and Ray Mayhem.
Super
Thank you
fun.
for that one, movie phone.
That was a fantastic announcer voice, just for the record, by the way.
Really,
I feel like I just
really
downloaded
enjoyed
the movie
that.
phone.
I'm
All
excited.
right,
I'm
when you
super
get done
excited
with
to see
that,
you
why
guys.
don't you check out the latest offering? No.
I'm super excited to see you guys get that stream up and running. It's been a while since I've seen you guys play together, so I am looking forward to it.
It's going to be a
Exciting.
blast, literally.
Now, what time is that going to be at?
That'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, which would be 5 p.m. Pacific, or, we're going to talk like 1 a.m. over in London areas.
Yeah, that's going the other direction. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for that introduction. If you are new to the stream and you haven't caught this before, let me tell you a little about how this works. So basically, all of our questions come from chat. We talk about the questions that you would like to see answered. So if you have a question for the group here, please feel free to drop that into chat. Moderators are standing by, and we'll send your message directly to me behind the scenes so that we can make sure that we see it. And that way we don't have to worry about getting them lost or anything like that. So please feel free to do that. If you have been here for a while and you've got some channel points racked up, we do have the Ask My Question next for 1,000 channel points. You can have your question bumped up to the next one in the queue. So you can definitely make sure that we get to it if we don't look like we're going to get to it to the end of the stream. So yeah. So feel free to do that. We've already gotten in a question from the Ink Den, so we're going to start off with that. The Ink Den, this question is specifically for DMs. When your players want to multi-class, do you stick solely to the player's handbook rules, or do you have your own rules for it? For example, for my players to multi-class, they have to have the prerequisite numbers for class and be able to explain to me why their character would be able to be that class.
There are PHB rules for it. I just sort of.
Yeah, there are.
I have always gone by the this concept that characters in the world aren't quote unquote D&D classes. They are some profession that is relevant and representative of their world and their experiences. They may utilize the statistics and levels of these classes to represent it, but ultimately they are a synthesis of something else, and that's what multi-class is. They don't go, to a bar, hit up some, fancy lady with a drink and say, "Hey, I'm a level 2 fighter, level 3 thief." No, there's something else that is a synthesis of that makes sense in that world. So I always just let them do it, because they're always working towards that, and they need a certain level build to achieve it.
Hold on here. So what you're telling me is this is why I was never successful at the bars.
Probably, you need something a little subtler, a little something that actually represents an attachment to the real world, and spouting off memes never does that.
True.
That explains a few things.
Yeah.
So did you want us to answer questions in alphabetical order as well, or?
Nope. Feel free to jump in whenever.
Okay. I am definitely in the same boat with CC as, like, your characters are not a level blank. They are a living, breathing entity that exists out in this world, and whatever abilities they have are more of an expression of their will and wants and drives. More than anything else, I think that, like, when we have our characters express themselves through their actions and not through their what is it, not prescriptive but descriptive, right? Then that is really where, like, roleplay tends to shine. So to answer the question about multi-classing, I don't really care what the player's handbook says about the rules for multi-classing, because I like mine better, I guess is the way I would say. I know what the rules are for multi-classing, and I don't really differ too much from it, except for the fact that I don't like it if players are able to cast arcane and divine spells, one or the other. Other than that, I don't really care.
Well, 3.5 had something you wouldn't like. Arcane Hierophant.
Unfortunately, I have never DM'd yet. However, I am practicing to DM my first game in the near future. So my wife, Jim, is teaching me the basics on how to be a DM. But to answer that question the best as I can, as I've never GM before, would just, like I was taught, the rulebook is just there for a reference. It is not to be followed exactly. And actually, I learned that from Jim and last week's stream as well, when you guys answered that question. And so it taught me, wait a minute, that is just a reference. It doesn't have to be exact. So no, I would not.
My, learning so much from the love of your life.
Yeah, he got me into this whole world I'm in now and here as well. So yes, it was because of him, and I thank him for that, and I love him for that if he's watching.
We love.
And I think you hit it right on the head with the PHB is a set of guidelines. It's not a set of hard and fast rules. And when I look at multi-classing, I don't allow multi-class unless that's just how you're playing your character. If it progresses naturally with how your character is progressing, then that's awesome, and we will work with that. But for someone to sit there and go, I'm playing a fighter right now, but I'm kind of bored, so, I'm just going to pick up a scroll and start learning how to be a wizard. No, we don't quite do that. You're going to have to continue playing your fighter, or, I can kill him. That's fun. And, what? Character death is a wonderful way of motivating the rest of the party. I'm just saying. You knock out one, the rest of the party gets in line, usually.
Usually. It's supposed to happen.
Or at least wouldn't surely just stop expecting anything.
See, I'm only saying things like this because I haven't seen Atomic show up in the chat yet. And I won't say this if Atomic actually shows up in the chat later.
Are any of my players in here at the moment? I better check. Red, you there?
So what you guys are saying is make sure I highlight all of this and send it directly to them.
I crit my wife and killed her on stream like a few weeks ago, so...
Ow.
That is one of the greatest things I've ever heard. Tell me more.
Thinking about having merch made that says I crit my wife.
Oh,
Did you?
idea.
Wow.
Oh gosh,
That would be a good one, actually.
that would be hilarious.
Oh,
As
yeah.
someone whose ex-husband actually did that to them, I jokingly say that was the initial grounds for the divorce, but it wasn't.
Okay.
I'm not here to take pot shots out at her without her to defend herself. That's Led Sozo Beans in chat. So if I say anything too wrong, she'll call me out.
Fair enough.
We're just going to see this hand mysteriously appear on camera, smack
Right.
him in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Jordan, are you out there? Are you listening?
Oh goodness.
And you hear me. Oh my
We
goodness.
hear you.
All right, let's see. Zeal Zaddy used an Ask My Question next, and so the question is publishing your own content in your future plans? What can we look forward to in that regard?
No, I have actually published some of my own content. Haven't done so in a while, so it's not so much in the near future as it is in the distant, almost forgettable past. I penetrated into this Twitter sphere, publishing something called The DMPC is Dead, which you can find at thedmpcisdead.com. And through matter of happenstance, stumbled into streaming. So every once in a while, I'll blurt out some sort of 5e supplement that comes from the content of my streaming games, but otherwise, I guess not. How about you guys? Derek, you do some stuff, don't you?
I'm sorry, I have ADHD, so I'm going to need the question repeated.
That's fine. Basically, the question was, do you have any publishing plans in the future for any of your own content?
In the future, okay, that's what I was unsure of. So I was supposed to be publishing my first adventure that got me and Cece to be like wrapped up together. I mean, first of all, we did like a one shot on somebody else's channel, but then I was like, hey, I want to stream something that I want to make into content. Do you want to do it? And he was like, yeah, I'll do it. And that was supposed to happen. That never happened. I did just release a book with Haven RPG in chat. We are, I don't know if we're going to do more. We might. We'll talk about it. He's got a lot on his plate, and I'm in the process of moving, so I can't take on any more right now. Publishing material, no, not at this exact moment. I have a show where we're making a whole setting, and then we're going to make a system around it, but I could not ever tell you when that's going to be ready. So, yes,
still
but long term,
pretty cool,
or no.
I haven't really thought of that, really, because I'm just learning this, and now that I'm learning to actually be a DM one day, so I don't think I'm quite there yet, but possibly in the future, maybe Jim and I could publish something in the future. So, not right now, just getting to learn baby steps, and eventually, yeah, it just might happen one day. Never know.
Never know.
No.
Okay, I see Coin talking about it in chat. That tells me that I can actually say yes. Yes. Okay, yes.
I am hoping that there will be a collaborative item that I will help to put out here soon. I would like to do it later this year that will involve two wonderful universes, which would be Ravenloft and My Little Pony. And
Sure, yeah.
Ooh, I want to see that one. I watched that as a kid.
Turn around and forget I ever heard that.
Oh, come on. It's
No.
funny. Wouldn't that be cool?
It would be a lot of things.
we've been talking about it for a while now.
For a
I really
long
want to sit
time.
down with Ray Mayhem
Yeah.
and make this happen to where we create our one shot where you are playing in a party of ponies and you are adventuring into Ravenloft to do something.
I do hope you're doing all this ironically.
It's so
I want to
it's
say it's
going
a
to
hard
be
cross between ironic and not, but
Meta irony.
it's yeah, that's pretty much exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be very serious, very
Oh,
grim
it
dark
literally
from
meta irony.
Ravenloft, but
It's It's just somewhere in the midst of it, the you that existed prior to the internet and the you that is entirely a creature of the internet ceased to have any difference, and you are consumed by the memes.
You want to be in that game, if possible. I want to play
maybe.
a pony.
I'd play it, but
I want to be a pony. Who doesn't want to be a pony?
Oh God.
I'm just concerned, like you say, like you're gonna be like super serious. How are you gonna do like full on violence? Like you slice this creature and its rotten guts pour out. Like you're gonna get like
knowing the
with
people
it?
that are involved, probably.
Hell yeah, dude! More power to you. Okay.
I'm thinking that if I had a character, he would have prophesied. He would have prophesied there was some moment where he saw some entity he was destined to destroy crumbling into dust in dire hell screams and fire under the weight of his cataclysmic hooves. That would be my character.
Wait, how are you gonna manage Bucephalus?
Oh, we're gonna manage Bucephalus. You just need to neigh the right way.
Whoa.
You're just gonna be a bigger horse?
What? Childhood ruin.
Sorry, don't spoil
gone.
anything.
It's gone.
Don't spoil anything. I don't want you to give away anything. I have to see this live.
So, as Taven pointed out in chat, yes, there is a My Little Pony TTRPG that's already on the market. It's Heroes of Equestria. And we are figuring on adapting that over into 5e so that we can bring it right into Ravenloft. To answer your previous question, though, yeah, it's going to be pretty close to being just a standard Ravenloft campaign. However, it's already been determined that my pony, my icon, will actually be an urban mech from Battletech. And that is going to be my pony's power. So.
Your pony power.
Pony power!
Is an urban mech.
Pony power!
That's gonna be lit, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward to that.
When it comes down to it, when you face off with him, you just need to do a cute little dressage routine, and he'll be floored.
Can't step to you then.
Show him your trot. Show him your leg cross. Oh, the judges will love it.
Leg cross, okay.
Pony roller derby?
Ooh. Ooh, Jinx. We said it at the same time. At the same time, Jinx.
Man, now I really want my pony to have roller skates.
Right?
Yeah.
So cute.
My goodness.
If we convert it to Pathfinder, you could have a brawler.
That might be.
Just saying.
Just saying.
I don't have any plans to publish anything in the future. In 2021, I was part of the team that worked on a 5e supplement called Villagers, which is a book of, typical village NPCs, your apothecary, your town mayor, stuff like that. But all of them have some dark secret that they're hiding. So you can use, their plot hooks and stuff that, were all written in that you can use as, side quests or to hook into a main quest or whatever. So it's really just there for you to use however. And all of the NPCs have their own stat blocks, and some of them have multiple stat blocks because some of them are definitely not what they appear. And so if you do pick that up, I wrote 2 of the characters that are in there. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. I worked with the Plot Hooks team for that, and really great. We made it to DM's Guild bestseller, and then actually was retweeted out by Wizards of the Coast. So that was really exciting.
I thought I've heard of that before.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. No,
Yeah.
I definitely know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. But yeah, but no plans right now to publish anything new. So if the opportunity were to arise, then I would probably jump on it. But
Yeah.
Awesome.
You got this.
let's see. All right, so the next question that we have is The Burnt Coin wanted to know, have you ever been part of or GM'd a TPK, and what's the story?
God, have I ever? I feel like I have.
Definitely. Yeah.
You go. I'm trying to figure out what mine was.
So back in my coming into the hobby about like all around 10 years ago or so, the people that I played with were all to a man min-maxers. The people that they brought in, they taught how to min-max. Power gamers to a T. Hey, can I trade my ability to read common for an extra +1 to strength? That level of min-maxers.
Oh,
My first campaign was a Gestalt in 3.5 with prestige classes and everything. It was insane. So when I say that like I came into it like into the Crucible, I was very quickly thrown into like high level play, even at low level. And because of that, when I started DMing after like a few months, when I say that it was like Dark Souls, I don't mean like in a good way where it was like fair. It was like Dark Souls 2, where it's like there's some like encounters that you're gonna die because the game is expecting it, but then it punishes you by lowering your maximum health. So the party found this forge where dragon souls were being made into weapons. And they all found ancient weapons that had been locked into the forge, and they had to trade a part of their soul to get it out. So it inextricably linked their life force to the life force of this sentient weapon. There was this big battle where the dwarf barbarian of the party challenged the champion of a far outnumbering human force to a single combat duel. And the dwarf wanted the honorable fight, knowing that everybody else was going to get raffle stomped if he didn't win. And I warned them multiple times, you cannot gamble with your life in this campaign. I'm not expecting you to die, but also it's going to be possible. And when he got down to it, we had this like big, long, drawn-out battle where we rolled initiative each round, like old school style. Finally, he whiffed on the last hit that would have... If he just hit, he would have won, but he whiffed. And the other guy crit on him, and at that moment, it was like a nuclear bomb in the middle of this battlefield outside of this town that the party had taken upon themselves to try to save. And that was the end of that whole region, pretty much.
And you warned them too, right, about that?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
And
yeah,
still...
there was like multiple times where they were talking to their weapons, and their weapons were explaining like, yeah, if anything happens to you, I can heal your body, but if you're dead, it's going to be cataclysmic. It's going to be really bad for everybody around us.
So, were these the same guys you played with that you learned how to do high-level play with? Or were
No.
So, you kind of took your... You took your expectations of high-level play and then applied it to some people who weren't there.
Unsuspecting scrubs. I felt so bad about that, and that was a lesson in humility. Like, literally, like... Well, there goes the whole campaign that I spent, like, months planning.
Oh, that just sucks, dude. I'm sorry about that, man.
Oh, it's okay. You live and you learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually kind of remember that. I think I did something... I learned to play high level as well, and then quickly found that I was playing with people who didn't quite appreciate that. Like, the fact that you mentioned that this guy was a barbarian in 3.5 already told me that he's not a high level player.
Yeah.
When you're doing high level play, everyone's a caster.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's got the most ridiculous magic items. It's mess, but barbarian is not part of that mess.
No.
I was going down the same road, but I just... I think I realized in time before I sent them into something ridiculous and then pared it down.
Again, unfortunately, I have not GM'd yet, so I can't really answer.
Have you ever played TPK?
No, I don't think I ever have.
Lucky you.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, No, I never have.
Well, you are...
Huzzah!
Wolfie,
No, I have not.
you look like a guy who has seen tragedy again and again.
Yeah, he kind of looks like it's all over his face.
Do you have any TPKs, Wolfie?
I've been a player and a DM. I've been on both sides of a TPK. I will say this though, as a DM, I will do everything I possibly can to avoid a TPK. Because that feeling at the table, if the entire party goes down, is just not a good feel. And I've actually seen people walk away from a table and never come back again because of a TPK. So I really try to stay away from those, but stupid is as stupid does. And I had we were just starting up a new campaign, and it was one of those where it was like, all right, I'm going to drop a black dragon on them. And I think they were like level 4 or level 5. It was not supposed to be a battle to the death type of scenario. There were 1,000 different ways for them to disengage and make this not happen. And basically everyone, including the mage, decided that charging a fully grown black dragon was the best thing to possibly do and not run away.
Oh, that reminds me of the time that I TPK'd. It was to a dragon as well, and it was at an even lower level. But it's actually one of my favorite things. It's this one campaign I've played multiple times with multiple people. It's my homebrew module, and it has a dragon very early at level 3. But this dragon is piss fucking drunk. He's actually famous in the region for extorting alcohol from all the lands so that he can be plastered, baby, just about 24/7.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Wow.
He has a little cult of kobolds that live with him and assist in his imbibement. And the battle that I present to them is a battle with the kobolds. That kind of concludes with them knocking out the shaman, and then me, informing them of the presence of the drunken dragon.
Oh man.
And they realized they needed to run. But they did something stupid. They wanted to steal something from his hoard before they got away.
Of course.
And that fucked them. See, when I use the dragon, what I do is I roll a dice to see if he's actually using his alkaline breath. So this guy breathes out alkaline substances, basically basic substances, the opposite of acid, because alcohol. And I roll a die to see if he actually breathes it in their direction, or if he's off by a mark. That's the whole holy shit, you almost just died thing that I go for. And so I always make him miss the first time, and then I start rolling. And he missed the second time he recharged. He missed the third time. But they started getting cocky, so they wanted to
Oh my god.
Always.
No.
After that third miss, I rolled to recharged immediately, and the roll of the die put them all on it. And they were not in good health. They could have survived possibly one hit, at least some of them, but they were all in very bad health. And so he hit dead square in the grouping and turned them all to mush.
Well, let's get one thing straight, Cece. You didn't TPK them. Your players greed TPK'd them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't you, so don't blame yourself. It's not your fault.
Oh yeah, like I just had built-in ways of getting out. They were apparent. They did not take them.
We had something very similar happen to that to my party in Shadowrun. We had just completed a run. We were actually exfilling at the time, and exfil was with my rigger and driving the car, getting out, and everybody with me. So everybody piles in. They had taken a little bit of extra time getting out of the building to do some side looking around and grabbing some extra stuff, which wasn't the best thing available, apparently. So, taking off, single lane alley out of the back of where we were. And mind you, I'm playing a dwarf rigger. So I'm the dude that's like sitting here driving like this with a little window in between the top of the steering wheel and the dashboard.
Like that.
And which was good because I wasn't tall enough when we ran through the string of monofilament wire that had been stretched across the road and turned my car into a convertible along with my entire runner crew.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
I get to the end of the alley and the GM just looks and goes, "You're now driving a convertible." As you look back behind you, you also realize that you have 4 headless corpses behind you.
Your friends have become convertible.
Oh.
Yep.
Wow.
Yikes, dude. That's brutal.
No. So I was like, wait a minute. They probably have stuff on them. So I drove them back to our hideout and then proceeded to go ahead and rifle through their pockets, get everything that they had taken
There you
out
go.
of the plate. Yeah. Hey, I've got to survive.
I mean,
oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
oh no, I was just gonna say. I mean, you know, you got to do what you got to do sometimes.
Mm.
Yep.
We had the first TPK on the channel on, what was it, like right after Christmas. We were doing the One Ring one shot called Yule Tides and Dark Tidings. Maybe it was right before Christmas. And Haven RPG was running that. It is Lord of the Rings game, if you didn't know, and we died. We just lost. We just lost in combat. That's all there is to say about it. One by one, we fell.
Depends on the dice then and everything. But Jim has been shooting me about DMs that a group makes the choice. You don't. You just deal with the outcome. So as you were saying, Derek, that you warned them. You said, this is going to happen if you do this. But they did it anyway. So the lessons for me is that you're not in control of what the group decides. I take that to heart, and luckily I never had a TPK before, so I'm lucky.
The players will always find a way to kill themselves.
Oh yeah.
Even though you try and hint, hey, you sure you want to do that? Yeah, okay.
And they think they're outsmarting you too. Is the funny thing. They're like, silly DM, I'm gonna do this, and it's gonna pay off so big. And then it's
You
like,
can't stop me. And you can't.
They just don't want me to do this because it's going to be the easy way around what they were trying to do.
it's a DC 30.
You're rolling with disadvantage, and you have a negative 10 penalty. So... No, I can do it. Nat 20.
I can do it.
Quick question for everybody here, though. Situation like that, you know, DC 30, you're rolling with disadvantage, blah, blah, blah. Does a nat 20 succeed?
No. Rules say no.
I don't think it does.
At disadvantage, and you're rolling 2 20s to register a crit, I'm just going to give it to them, because that's a 1 in 400 chance.
Maybe. If the moment's right.
If the moment's right. If they have disadvantage and they're rolling to get a crit, okay, yeah, you gamble that. I will give you something for that 1 in 400 shot.
If they're trying to steal from the psychic archmage, it doesn't matter that you rolled a 20. The rules state that there's no such thing as a critical success on a skill check, so you needed a 30. That's what I would say in that situation. But if it's an athletics check to like climb out of a volcano, yeah, I'd probably give it to them.
Yeah. It's not so much the rules as the audacity of, I'm going to take the shot of accomplishing something that has a 1 in 400 chance.
Yeah.
Because this is rolling for a crit with disadvantage. Remember, he specified that.
True. You warned.
That's something I'll... You know, you'll steal it. You'll steal from the Archmage. You'll get, about, 2 miles away, he'll pop back up to you, just shake his head, and say, well, I respect the effort. That's what happens in that. And then they'll give him a big pat on the back, tell them, you know what? Once you're over this life of crime, you come see me. I'll teach you a few things. That's what comes of that outcome. No, they don't get what they want still. But boy, is someone impressed.
They still get
That
something
I like.
for it.
You throw the moxie out there, and you get rewarded for it. That's what people need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just they roll, and the Archmage mentally registers, holy shit, someone in my lair is trying something incredibly ballsy. I gotta respect that. You know, I'm gonna get my thing back. But game knows game.
Hey,
Game respect games.
Mad props for even trying and attempting it.
That is true. So the only time I was involved in a TPK, it wasn't truly a TPK because it became a PvP issue. We had a party member who, I don't remember the entire circumstance, but ended up swearing allegiance to Bane towards the end of the game. And so naturally our cleric was like, oh my god, what are you doing? And it all just went downhill from there. So yeah, it was messy, and just about everybody ended up dead except for the guy who swore allegiance to Bane. So yep, that was a thing.
Lucky for him.
Right? I know.
Jesus.
Worked out for him in the long run.
Yeah.
Of course, the
But
DM was
everyone
like, well, I was not expecting that to happen tonight.
Mm-hmm.
expect the unexpected, and that's
Pretty
what
much,
I
yeah.
learned. Yeah, is that
There's
you don't
Bane.
know
I know.
what's coming or what they're going to do. So
You guys remember Bane?
Bane.
no. Bane?
That was back
Old,
in the
like-
3.5 days that happened.
Yeah.
See, and I like that rule there. You know, the Alive for 5. The first 5 levels that you're in a campaign, I'm gonna be nice. I'll coddle you a little bit. I'll take care of you. I'm gonna try my best to keep you alive. Once we hit level 6,
I'm
that's
not
gonna be
so
on you
nice.
now.
You know how to use your shit. And you have a lot of it.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have clawed your way up from level 1 to level 6 at this point, you ought to know enough to not walk into the bar and pick a fight with the one person in there you shouldn't be picking a fight with.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. That's just a death wish.
Like that. I've never heard that mimetic Alive for 5, though. Use that.
Good.
Yeah,
haven't-
I do like that.
I tend to start at level 3, so it's not as long, but
Yeah.
you can only start with people who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
To give our audience just a little bit of a preview, Esper Genesis, Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. We are starting at level not even 0.
There's
For
like a
that
level
campaign.
before 0.
Yes, in Esper Genesis, there is a level before 0, which is basically we are playing NPC level characters
Oh, okay.
and having to move into becoming, you know, PC leveled, even level 0 characters.
Interesting.
I really enjoy those external systems that have different approaches to leveling. In Blades in the Dark, which we use for Mimetic Mori, it progresses through just a very scattered set of skills, and you gain skills independently from one another. There are different EXP pools, experience pools, that drive one from one action to the next.
Yeah.
That's very different. I like that.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, you're like I think in D&D, if you got skill proficiencies independent of your level from an entirely different system than what increases your attack rolls and things like that, kind of like that. Just different pools of actions lead to you leveling in different things.
Yeah.
Then, of course, the crew sheet that levels independently of everyone. So you have your character, but then you also have your crew. The crew is a shared sheet that everyone in the party benefits from, and everyone levels up together. It represents their joined skills as a unit that is fighting this terrible town and all of its madness.
I like that.
And it gives you tiny little things that you either do as a group or that everyone benefits from. It's a really interesting system.
Yeah, if nobody's
That's
played
a
Blades
cool
in the Dark
concept.
before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if nobody's played that game before, you should definitely check it out. It's something else, man.
Interestingly enough, because we were just talking about it before the stream too, Bat Duck just mentioned L5R had a system like that too.
Oh, yeah. I just used something in my session of L5R today where I was supposed to die, and I took an advantage at the beginning of session 0 that was like, each time that you should die at once per session, you can go to 1 hit point instead. Well, not hit point, 1 wound remaining. And I should have died, but I didn't. I did die in I'm a Medic Mori, though.
Smart
I didn't
choice.
stay dead.
It was my first character death in I'm a Medic Mori, but that didn't last long. Is it getting a little off of the track of the question if I explain how we almost TPK'd in I'm a Medic Mori?
Go for it.
Well, geez. That season was crazy. In I'm a Medic Mori, they are this gang of thieves trying to make do in a city that is completely flabbergasted by these cosmic horrors. And one such cosmic horror reified itself in a game of itself, and one that they had a little turf war with. There's this crew called the Glass Cannons, and they are a hive mind. They pass their hive mind on to anyone that imbibes their drug that they push to the streets. So if you take this drug even once, you are part of the crew, and you don't even know it. Not until you're called upon. And they use this power to great effect, trying to muscle out these fellas that were cutting them short of people to add to the collective. And it got dirty. They fought again and again and again, killing the leader again and again. They kept on getting this false promise that they had actually defeated their enemy, that they had killed the man behind it all, only to discover that that consciousness just passed on to someone else. When the head's cut off, it grows elsewhere. And it took basically blowing themselves up on top of a massive aqueduct to finally kill off the last people who could bring in that consciousness. All the collective knowledge of everyone they had killed, fighting them. It took them blowing up, half of the country's history. Finally end them. And, one of our characters died in that, and it's a damn surprise the rest of them didn't.
The luck of the dice, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes that
It's the dice gods.
That's
The
all it
dice
is.
god.
I wrapped my whip around him and pulled out a suicide vest.
Yep. That's how he did it. I didn't even know he had the suicide vest. He had that plan. He told me he had something. And it's just the only way to take down this quasi-god.
He used that quasi-god's power to come back. So we all win in the end.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, the end of it is every time they defeat one of these gangs that has a little bit of these Eldritch Beings' knowledge, they inherit it. They inherit the knowledge of the people they defeat. And from that, since they had a knowledge of how to pass consciousness from one person to another, he picked that up. And after he blew his mind to bits, he just resurrected anew in some schmuck. And he was back.
Or schmuck.
Or schmuck.
For
What are you gonna
sure.
do?
And you do.
It is what it is. It's what I always say. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
The words you never want to hear from your players before the session starts. I have a plan.
Oh,
Dun dun dun.
what is coming? Oh, Flipside Vest is coming. Attaboy.
Good job. Good job.
Oh my god.
Amazing. All right, let's see. The next question that we have was from Ampersand D20. What advertising advice do you have for people who are just starting out?
None. I have no idea what I'm doing.
I think we all just make it up as we go.
Yep.
Actually, my advertising advice is to follow people like Dungeon Glitch and Mappy and who's the other one? Abyssal Brews on Twitter, because they always have really good marketing advice.
Yep.
Yep. And Amber, the Space Jammer, she does too. So, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Amber Space Jammer. I like that.
Yep.
Very catchy.
Tweet more. Schedule tweets. Learn how to schedule tweets. It's totally free. It just saves you a lot of time. And spend time learning how to shitpost, because people really like it if you're good at shitposting.
That seems to be all.
Yeah. Just
One thing, yeah. A concept that you should be aware of as you think about your advertising is the Pareto Principle, which is that 80% of your outcomes come from 20% of your work.
Yeah.
It's about 20% of your tweets or your interactions with the advertising world that get you 80%. It feels crazy. That thing that you put so much effort into, so much thought, was merely a single line item in the 80-20. So you need to keep producing in order to manifest those moments where the 20% does the 80% of the work.
huge
Which
agree.
is done by scheduling tweets and shitposting. Just let it out. Be candid. There's something that you're comfortable just saying.
Oh yeah.
Say that. Again and 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 again.
Also Canva.
Yeah.
Canva's great.
Yep. Canvas.
Marketing in general is based on repetition, number one. So, just as everybody else has been saying, get out there. Make sure your message is coming across clearly. In the TTRPG community, make friends. And do that simply by shitposting, number one. That's how a lot of people find out about each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. Jeez.
I can't tell you the number of people where I'm like, I like that person just because they put up a great shit post, and now I'm watching their stream or I'm listening to their podcast, whatever it happens to be. Another thing too, though, really is consistency. Just make sure that not only is your marketing going out consistently, but whatever your product is also in a consistent manner being put out to your audience. What people don't want to see is your podcast coming out on Tuesday, and then on Thursday, and then it's going to skip a week, then it comes out on a Wednesday. Make it so that it's going to come out at the same time, same day, as closely as possible every week. If something keeps you from breaking, or if something does force you to break that consistency, then make sure you address it and be open about it. Hey, look, today, I have COVID. Therefore, I'm not doing my podcast this week. That's what the world that we live in right now, and everybody's going to be like, got it.
Yeah.
So just make sure that you are covering for those times where you can't be consistent. That's the biggest thing about getting out there.
And I think what you said too about, making friends in the community, like that's huge, and that accounts for probably 90% of my growth initially. Really accounts for 90% of my growth. And it was all because oh yeah, I saw you interacting with this person's tweets or that person's tweets, and don't just comment to comment, comment and be thoughtful about what you have to say when you're reacting to somebody else's post sometimes, because that's what's going to get the interaction to start with you, like for people to want to interact with you. And then actually, Matt from the roleplay chat just said too that, make a Twitter ad account, but you don't have to actually use the paid ads. There's a way to set it up so that you can use like their card feature, and that just plays into the algorithm. But Twitter is a weird animal, because if you don't post consistently, whether it's through scheduled posts or not, it's going to just push you down in the algorithm, and nobody will see your content, period, regardless of whether it's marketing content or not. You have to be consistent about it. But yeah, Twitter's like the only thing that I can speak to, because that's where I do 99.9% of the marketing for this stream and related things.
And also, too, jump into people's Discords. You can jump into Luna's living room right now and join our Discord there and use the oh god,
self promo.
There you go.
Yeah, I actually saw that in the list, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh,
people will use that, and a lot of, some people have mixed feelings about those. I personally like to see people use it, because I'm the person who turns off everybody's going live notifications on Twitter, because I don't need my phone blowing up all the time that somebody's gone live, or not on Twitter, on Twitch, because I don't need all of that. But if you're using people's like, hey, we're going live at 8, or hey, we just went live, or something like that, for me, that's the trigger to be like, oh yeah, I wanted to tune into that. Or maybe it's a channel that you're not already following. Maybe it's not a channel that somebody is normally on. On occasion, a couple of times in the last few months, I've been a guest on another person's channel, so you might not be following them. So it's, it's good to check out and see what people are doing. But, speaking for my channel, people will post, content that they're publishing, streams that they have, their podcasts, their artwork, their, commissions, their all of that stuff. So it's a good way to network with people.
I will check it, Luna.
Yeah.
Of that. Jim taught me, because I asked him, okay, how do I get my name out there? They all know who you are, but they don't know who I am. And he simply says, go on their stream, go in chat, ask questions, be constant, be there every time they come on and learn, meet people. Today, I dropped him off at work, and I said, babe, I'm nervous. And he goes, don't be. You're just talking with friends. Get on there, meet friends. What's the harm? And I take that to heart today, and he's right. Just like he said, go on the streams, make yourself known. However, and this is personal to me, I have been on certain streams where the streamer themselves do not like you to even mention you have a stream in chat. So I try to be careful when I mention that, oh, by the way, I have a stream on myself with my wife as well on a separate channel. Some don't like that. I actually almost got kicked off of one just for mentioning volume issues on my stream, and it took offense, and I almost got booted. So I would be careful and probably ask, is it okay if I say this in your chat? So yeah,
etiquette's important. Yeah, definitely. That guy was a douchebag, but etiquette is also important.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and I know the proper. I had to learn all of this because this is a whole new world for me, and I had to learn on my own what I can do, what I can't do, what I can say in someone else's stream. In yours, you can do whatever the heck you want. So,
This is a pretty open show, It we like to drop our stuff. Wolfie's dropping his stuff. I'm dropping my stuff. I'm dropping my stuff.
Me too. Yeah, and I love that that we have a chance to get out there and be exposed and
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
share it with
Yeah.
all
fellow.
that matters, I gotta say that fellow was he was out of line. It was an off-comment remark that wasn't
Well,
trying.
actually, it was two.
Two,
Yeah.
1, 2. What do you do?
I no longer follow them. I no
fuck
longer
that guy.
subscribe.
Yeah.
Because if you cannot help me or just share some of your success, then I don't want to follow you anymore.
I'm gonna kind of like pull back the curtain for a moment, because I stream like around 120 hours a month, so I feel like I'm really burning towards that 10,000 hour mark. People that are like that are not necessarily the kind of people that I want to be friends with. So I would appreciate if after the show you let me know in DMs who that was, so I can make sure I'm not following them. I don't want to support anybody that is going to not support homies. Homies support homies. You heard it here for the millionth time. Homies support homies. They are getting something out of you coming on their show, right? So for them to then be like, no, you don't get anything out of this. You don't get to promo your own stuff. What incentive do you have to go on their show, right? Like, I'm not saying that like everything's quid pro quo, because obviously you want to do stuff for the sake of doing stuff. But I mean, everybody understands that we're all trying to benefit together, and that's what keeps it from being parasitic. When they're keeping you from plugging your own stuff, I don't like that.
I think it's... Go ahead, Keone.
I just said the word stream, and they got it. I didn't say the name. I didn't say him, because I know better. Unless I have permission to, like here, then okay. But I just said I have that same problems with my stream. That's it. And it went off the handle. So, bye-bye. I don't need that negativity in my life. So, yeah, they're gone.
I do. There is sort of an unspoken rule in like Twitch chat where, if you're watching another streamer and you're logging off because you're going to go stream, then you don't say like, okay, bye, I'm leaving, I'm gonna go stream now. Exactly. That's a no-no. That's just general Twitch etiquette.
I do that all the time. Am I not supposed to do that?
In somebody else's
I'm not joking. I literally do that to like one of my buddies. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm leaving work now. I'm gonna go home and go on stream. Should I stop that? I'm a dick. I'm sorry. Sorry, Sheaf. I love you. Sorry, Sheaf.
If you're friends,
I was gonna say it might be different because it's somebody that you're already friends with, but like general etiquette, and I only know this because somebody told me when I was really on in my streaming career that like, hey, that's not really okay, and I was like, oh, like I had no idea. Nobody had ever told me.
Don't do that with randos.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing if you have like a, maybe it's a shared community or like people who kind of know both of your schedules or whatever. But yeah, as a general rule of thumb, if it's like the first time you're checking someone out, then don't be like, okay, peace out, I'm going to stream, bye.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah.
I was sitting here like literally like,
I'm
a terrible person.
For a lot of us, for a lot of the streamers that you're currently talking about, DMDM Studios is the hub where we had our first stream together, and then we kicked off to do our own stream. You don't have to worry about mentioning your stream in our channels, because we all started on your stream.
Exactly.
True.
We all are starting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is probably a great time for us to pause for a break. So we are going to take a quick break, 5-10 minutes, so everybody can get their drinks and hashtag free the pee and all that good stuff. And we will be back shortly after. So if we haven't answered your question yet, it's in the queue. We just haven't made it there, and hopefully we will get to it as soon as we get back. So we'll see you in just a couple of minutes.
But wait, Luna.
Oh.
Isn't there something special during this break?
There is. In fact, stick around first minute or so of break, and you can catch the trailer for CC and Derek's stream that they have going on. So give that a look, and you can learn a little bit more.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Medic Mori.
All right.
What worth is there to weep? For the city which cannot sleep. You know you're going to cry yourself dry. No aid can be devised for their grey and tired eyes that would substitute whiskey and rye. But podunk, in destitution, perhaps a sip is no solution. So you must grip onto futility and try to become the breaker's breaker. So split your lungs to greet your maker, and take a grip onto futility and cry.
Hey everybody, we are back from break. Hope that you all had a good couple of minutes to get up, stretch your legs, let the dog out, whatever you needed to do. And yeah, we are back to answer some more of your questions. So we will dive right back in. Let's see, the next one that we have is another one from Ampersand D20. And the question was, do you have any tips for making stuff up on the spot?
DC?
Now, what you say? Want to do some crazy shit? Well, that's what you do. You take a poo. Oh, yeah, improv is definitely a skill to develop. No, what do you got to say?
Oh, I was going to play off of what you were just saying there. Have you seen the vets when they have to birth a calf? They got the glove that goes up to here. Have a couple of those handy as a DM. You'll need it.
Oh no, he lives in the
This
boonies.
entire
He might have that.
conversation just took a turn I did not expect. Luna, I apologize.
This right here is improv, folks.
You got me good. Oh, you got me so good.
Oh my god! For everybody out there listening in podcast land, he just pulled out a set of those gloves.
Oh no!
A picture in my mind. No, it's
Oh
burning.
my God.
It's burning. It's
Get-
burning my brain.
Get the brain bleach, folks.
Oh.
And that's it. That was a great show, everybody.
Right,
I hope
okay,
everyone has a great
glad-
rest of the night.
I'm so
Oh,
glad
my God.
we came back to answer that question.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that was
someone
good.
needs to clip that.
That was good.
Someone needs to clip that.
That was
For sure.
improv. That was improv.
That was improv right there.
At its finest. At its finest.
Yeah, somebody please clip that, because I am definitely I'm trying really hard this year. My 2022 goal was to get a clip at least once a month from every stream so that I can do a highlight reel at the end of the year. So
Oh, nice.
so that
Nice.
needs to be part of it.
I think it does.
Yeah.
Shoulder length rubber gloves need to be a part of many facets of your life. Just putting that out there.
You should make a glove emoji just for that.
Right? I feel like I need one now. The sad thing is that Twitch now has the animated emote slot, so I feel like I should have a shoulder length glove, but it's like snapping.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And if you want to know how to make stuff up on the spot, here you go. We're serving it to you on a silver platter right now.
Oh my God, I'm turning red. I'm turning red. Look. I'm turning red.
I see the change of color.
Oh my goodness.
Speaking of red, put a heart behind the snapping glove.
Oh, God.
Oh man. No why?
Oh
Why?
my
Ad
goodness.
stream
Feel the
marking done.
Ty,
Oh,
if you're in
like,
chat,
Oh, Jim's gonna love this when he watches it.
Oh, God.
Improv. I don't want
There
to
was a
step on
question.
CC's toes there because he's kind of the king of it on my channel for sure. I mean, Andy obviously doesn't really do much prep either, but he at least preps like stat blocks and stuff. I know CC's just like, yeah, no, this is what you're up against, and I know what to do with it. And I mean, that's kind of like just part and parcel to most GMs, right? But I've never seen anybody run a whole show by the seat of their pants, so that's pretty fucking cool. For my input on that, I would just say consume good stuff that you like, because that's going to be the easiest stuff for you to pull from in the moment that you need it.
There's an old. It might be a little bit weird to the Zoomer generation, but there's this old show called Whose Line Is It Anyway? That I have.
God,
Yeah,
best
I remember that show.
yeah.
Yes. The Drew Carey was in it, right? Yeah.
He was the host,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he was the host. That is hilarious. That is improv.
We still watch that sometimes, my wife and I.
Yeah.
Done.
But that was a staple of my youth, and seems to have come to fruition after all these years.
When's the Hoedown episode?
Dun 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 dun. Bum, 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 bum,
So,
bum,
true
bum.
story, a couple of weeks ago, speaking of that show, I had Mark Neer on this stream, and he actually ran 2 TTRPG campaign, or not campaigns, but one-shots with Colin Mockery.
Yo.
What?
And I was like, I need this in my life. Like,
I want that. Jeez.
yeah.
Did they record it?
Yeah, they're both on YouTube. So, I'll have to grab the links, but yeah. They're
Please, someone, beg
I
of
wanna
you,
see that.
clip my thing and send it to Colin Mockery. He is the grandmother I never had.
I guess Colin Mockery will have to be my next goal guest, huh?
There you go.
Colin Mockery, if you're watching, let's talk. Have your people call my people.
That would be awesome.
Um,
When it comes down to improv, though, as far as like being a DM and trying to bring your people back, number one, remember where you were trying to go, because just because they've decided to go right doesn't mean that you can't eventually to make them get to go left again. And what I really do, and this has been what I do both at a table as well as just in my professional life, especially back when I was a corporate trainer, have stories ready that you can walk them through that will eventually bring them back to where you want to be. You can have generic story ready to go back of your head, and you know it by heart. It's something you've been through a dozen times, and just change it up to whatever fits for your story to get them back on track to where you wanted them to be. If they want to go talk to Sam the Goblin that you never intended for them to talk to at the bar, well, then Sam just becomes, random patron A that you've got sitting in your head that is the town wino that is so deep into his cups he can't figure out what he's doing. And in fact, he walks away from you, trips and falls at the feet of the BBEG that is sitting at the table that you wanted them to talk to anyway.
Yeah, I've got things that are very similar to that. Whenever I launch a campaign, I don't have an individual, a named individual that I expect for them to meet up with. I have an archetype, someone that unfolds just naturally from whatever is happening, and represents the individual that draws them into the story that I had planned. It very frequently tends to be this character, this sort of a bumbling intellectual that is very quite capable, but there's just something that they're missing, and that they need a bit of assistance in order to realize their intellectual pursuit. That person has existed just out of the ether after game after game after game. I never quite plan who it's going to be, but I know that they're there. And as the earliest manifestations of the world that I'm creating make their way into existence in session 1, they appear. And they're just who I expected them to be. Because they're every character you meet in the beginning of my game.
For
Can
me,
confirm it's good.
no, that is the problem I'm kind of running into of being a DM or trying to be one, is the improv. I'm not very good at that, so advice from the wife is just to read through the campaign, pick stuff out. Bless you, if that was a sneeze.
Basically.
Sorry. Fuzzy.
To pick out key notes and jot them down in case the group decides to go where you didn't expect them to go. So have something to push that along. So yeah, I'm learning that as well.
I have actually done a podcast with Double DM, Emil and Nils over in Berlin, that talked about something very useful that can help you learn how to improv. It's a way of thinking about what's going on in your world on a different level. When people create worlds, they kind of create a bunch of details that come together. It has so-and-so races, so-and-so classes, there are these gods, there are those geological features, and that's good, but there is something that is above merely talking about details called the form and essence of something. And it's very well represented in the visual arts. Before you can fill in the little details of a beautiful picture, the eyes, the smile, the colors, the shading, you need the essence of it, which tends to be just a couple lines that represent the motion that is happening within the image. From that, there are the establishing lines, which are the form, and then, of course, finally, there are the details. This is the same thing with written and spoken stories. There is an essence and form that precedes all the little details that you see at the surface of it. And that's what you need to learn to unlock. That's how you can get a bit better at improv. You likely have some character in any campaign that you do that you expect people to meet first. What you want is the essence of them. What is their mannerisms? Is whatever they're trying to do to bring the characters in a representation of anger, of fear, of humor, of arrogance? And that matters far more before you decide anything like his name, her name, race, class, background, all that stuff. Decide whether or not they are angry, sad, or happy. And then have an archetype there. And then just whoever fills that in becomes the person you need it to be.
I'm so glad this got brought up because I have listened to that podcast twice because I love so much when CC talks about that. The really cool thing is that as the person running the game, you only have to deal with the form and the essence, right? That's the only thing that you have to get right. The details are either the stats or the details is the world around the players as they are perceiving it. And you don't have to do any of that part. You can run an entire game with 0 maps, anything like that. That would be another form of detail, right? And it can be just as immersive and just as engaging without all the crazy hundreds of hours that you put into cartography, right? So you don't necessarily have to get the details ironed out as much as you have to get like who that person is that you need them to be. And I'm going to kind of harken back to the last episode of Covet because that was the first episode that I didn't put in that's my D&D 5e campaign on Saturdays. That's the first one that I didn't put like dozens and dozens of hours into prep for. Every single other one has just been like, this is my baby. If I'm going to present this to people, it has to be perfect. And this was the first one that I was like, you know what? I feel like I can do this. I feel like I can just go off what the players want to do. And I feel like that was probably our best one so far. I'm saying all this to say that improv is something that you are. It's like a. I don't even want to call it a skill. It's like an art form that you practice when you are comfortable living in your world. It's just the act of selling it. It's verisimilitude in explanation, I guess.
So I'm gonna jump this question up because I think it's really applicable to what you were just talking about. Bose Bailey in chat just asked, how do you help a player become more comfortable actually acting as their character if they're not the acting type?
Well, gotta say, props are useful.
And he actually put it on this time.
Yeah. Right there, fellas.
I'm having
Amazing.
bad visions, dude. Like, no.
Amazing.
Put your character on just like that glove.
I will need a mind erase after this one. I will need a mind
Where's
meld or
my
Mind
Men in
blank.
Black flashy thingy?
yeah. The neuralizer.
The neuralizer. That's it.
Someone clip that.
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
we'll
that
get
was amazing.
Mind Blank cast on you. Don't worry about it.
I think some of that, from my experience, I think some of that really just depends on the table that you're playing with. Because if you're playing with a whole table of people who are not into heavy-duty RP and heavy-duty, like, you know, voices and that sort of thing, then you don't really need to worry about it. If you are playing with a group of people that play like that and you're not comfortable with it, I think the best way just to get comfortable with it, and this is, I'm solely speaking from my personal experience, is to just watch other people, and then sometimes you just kind of have to try it, and the more you try it, even if it's for 5 minutes out of the session, the more comfortable with it you become.
Exposure.
Exactly.
It matters.
Brilliant. Yeah.
You know, I have to say, exposure does matter. Luna, I showed up on your show very early in my streaming business, and I like to think I did a good time there, but well, now I'm here.
I mean, you've come a
And
long
now
way.
here we are.
Yep.
The gloves.
Know that you can build yourself up. Just know that you can build yourself up when you realize that the good things come to you in the moments. The good things come to you when you open up your ears and listen to the people that you are right next to. This has only happened because of Wolfie. Because he'd made an errant joke off of an errant joke after an errant joke that gave me an opportunity to do something amazing. And
It's the
Can't believe
whole
you have
yes
those.
and.
it is.
Yeah.
It's like the first rule of improv is yes and.
Be open to magnificent.
I have a story-ish. So, I don't know how to act at all. I have and still use my first character named Jodrick. He is a paladin, half-elf, that has vanity issues. He's a very pretty male elf, sort of like the Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, Legolas.
He's obsessed with prettiness. Now, it took me many games just to improve his character. So, don't worry if you don't know how to use your character now. Work on him or her, like how I did. And now Jodrick is at level 7 right now. So I used him in all my campaigns, and I still use him. He's my baby. He's basically my baby. But the point is, I started just like you, not knowing anything. I had to learn along the way. And yeah, that's my advice.
Good advice.
Personal experience.
So sweet.
Oh,
Ain't
that special?
So,
Hey,
just because I did see the question, it was specifically asking how do you, like, I interpreted that as, like, how do you as a dungeon master, so I'm going to kind of answer it from that, because
Sure.
other people kind of answered it from, like, the perspective of, like, as a player.
Yeah.
Kind of, like, create moments of opportunity for somebody to do something that they wouldn't normally do, and then reward them for doing it. In the most, like, basic of senses, that's kind of how you do it. And you don't necessarily reward them with, like, magic items or XP, but reward them with, like, a payoff of some sort. So in my D&D 5e one-on-one on my channel, I'm sorry I keep talking about these, but, like, I'm playing D&D and tabletop games all the time, and these are the games that I'm playing right now, so these are the ones that are most fresh on my mind. I promise I'm not trying to shamelessly self-plug, like, this whole time. I promise I'm not.
don't worry about that. That's what I'm.
My player is one of my best friends IRL, playing a pirate girl who is trapped in Barovia, and her dad went there seeking some great immortality treasure, and he got turned into a werewolf, and as we all know, not to spoil too much, but all the werewolves in Barovia are under Strahd's control. And he got turned into like the biggest, baddest one that was like the sole guardian that would like just run around Barovia all the time looking for people to kill that were like in the towns. And they came across them, and so this wasn't a real TPK because I had planned for character death to happen in this because it's a one-on-one and that's literally unavoidable, especially when he's controlling like 4 PCs. I'm role-playing 3 of them, he's controlling 1 of them, 4 of them in combat. So you have to account for death like that. Big Bad Wolf killed them the first time. They came back, went around, did Barovia stuff, encountered him again. He killed the Big Bad Wolf. When the wolf's head came off, found out that it was his character's dad, and he was giving me grief in real life for that for like a few weeks too. Like, you made me kill my dad. Like,
You made me kill my dad. It's your fault.
yeah. And I mean, obviously, this is a person that's got loads of RP experience and knows how to play it. But what I'm getting at is, I gave them an opportunity to like. That was where I opened the opportunity, and when it closed was like the last time we played, when his character, who had been afflicted by lycanthropy from that last fight, finally got it cured and was able to talk to their dad's ghost for like a few minutes while their spirit was like in between. And that was the payoff, and that was the reward. I gave them the opportunity to grind that axe and find a reason to really like get invested in Barovia. Like, no, this isn't just a module that Wizards of the Coast ran. This is your story. Your dad died, and you killed him. What are you going to do about it? And then the payoff was a really emotional last time we played. We both teared up. It was really good.
I think there's a lot to be said for the positive reinforcement of your, of others at the table.
And one thing that I can point out too is, I'm gonna drop this into the chat real quick. I know it says the 5 languages of appreciation at the workplace, but it also works around the table too. Different people have different motivators, different ways that they prefer to receive appreciation, and knowing what that is a great way to interact with the folks that are at your table. I, for one, am an individual that loves words of appreciation, just a simple thank you or a simple acknowledgement of what I did at the table, especially if it is one of those ballsy events that just happen to work out. Then that's why I play the game. Others, maybe they are the ones that need to be motivated with that just random +1 dagger every once in a while to come their way to keep them motivated in the game. So keep that in mind too, from a DM's perspective. How do you keep your people motivated and moving forward? I do enjoy stabbing people in the ass. It is effective. It works really well.
I'll bet.
And it saved our collective asses.
Nothing like a dagger to the ass to get you going.
Right?
Well, I will definitely say the 5 languages of appreciation are definitely something that'll help you connect with your players. I, for one, definitely like receiving acts of service, as Wolfie has so given me by giving me this opportunity.
Caveat on what I said, by the way, because I realize it makes me sound like an asshole. Don't just go around killing your players' dads, by the way. Know your players, and if they're okay with that, then do. I'm done. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's fair.
That's fair. That's good advice.
I would ask first, hey, is it okay if I kill your dad? Good? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Simple.
Well,
If you ask sometimes, you have to know your player, right?
if you know your player, you can do it. I have a crew that I've been playing with for about 5 years, and there have been times when I've, killed their mentors, killed their dads, killed their spouses, killed their children, because I know they can have
God.
their children's god. That. It always hurts when you kill their deity. Like,
Could be fun.
I like the aesthetic, Why'd you have to take the aesthetic from me? It's not, I didn't care about all the whimsidoo and the fact that he killed the children. He had a nice hat. It was all about the hats.
Oh.
I'll take that.
What about that hat?
Isn't that what religion is? It's all about the hats.
It is a lot about the hat.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
But I will, yeah, agreed.
Those are some pretty crazy hats.
That big, like, blocking, or yeah.
I, for one, am looking for a religious institution that has a good workout routine. I seem to be favoring Hindu.
There you go.
Yoga.
Yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what
you go.
are the spa options of this religion?
I don't think they have one in yoga. I think it's just like,
Do hot yoga.
There you go, hot yoga.
oh yeah.
Hot yoga. Bikram isn't
And
actually.
there's that. Yeah.
Yeah, Bikram is pretty warm.
Do you have a moment to talk about the noodly appendages of our flying spaghetti monster?
I do, because I'm hungry. Oh.
Has spaghetti for
Where's
lunch.
where's the favorite snack question? I was expecting that.
You
I
know,
know.
I'm kind of disappointed.
Yeah,
Me
come on,
too.
chat, get on that. Jeez.
What the hell? Chad?
Come on, it's my first time here, Chad. Come on.
Players'
You've
tears.
been asked that question, haven't you?
We have been asked that question in the past. It's come up numerous times actually, but no, we've gotten all very like thoughtful questions from chat tonight. Nothing
Yeah.
super silly, which is okay because we can take anything and make it silly if we try hard enough
Yes,
and put on our
well,
rubber
I
gloves.
mean,
Put on
Improv.
rubber gloves.
Improv.
Yeah. Let's see. So Matt of Roleplay Chat wanted to know if you had to condense your DM or player style into a short statement, what would that be?
You just
Chaos.
died. This is Dark Souls.
you
Sorry, I'm totally kidding. I didn't mean to cut you off, Wolfie. Please.
no, you're good.
No, you go. I need to think about it, actually. That was just the meme answer.
Yeah, I'm at a blank right now, so I need time to improv.
There you go.
improv.
I need my gloves too.
Suit on
You
up.
got any spares there,
Suit on
CC?
up. Do I have
Send
any to
it to the
spare?
computer.
Everybody
You know
put on
what?
your improv gloves.
Story that I'm just not going to tell, but yes, I do.
That's gonna haunt us. Improv
I'll-
club.
Your improv
Yes.
gloves, yeah.
God, that's already in my brain, and I will imagine it. I'll be dreaming of dancing rubber gloves around my head.
I mean,
Wouldn't be the first time for me.
Well, does awaken something in you, Wolfie?
And so, I mean, like my play style is to say it's chaos. Everything that I do is based in chaos, and just the comment that Mara threw out earlier about stabbing somebody in the ass. I was playing a character that was a pacifist, and he did not want to kill anyone. But there's a lot of leeway between, not killing someone and still being useful. So I just asked a simple question. I was like, do I have my pocket knife with me? And my GM was like, yes, you do have your pocket knife. I was like, okay, I'm going to pull my pocket knife out. I'm going to stab him, but because I don't want to kill him, I'm going to stab him in the ass. And turns out I rolled pretty damn well, and I stabbed him right in the ass.
Let's
The
go.
right cheek. And that is my play style right there. I will stab people in the ass.
having played
least
with
it-
Wolfie in the past, 100% can confirm.
At least it's got padding.
Yeah.
You-
Probably the best
I'm
place to
probably
get
not
stabbed.
going to hit anything vital.
Yeah,
It's going to
no.
distract you.
Yeah.
You
Have
might
to be on
need
one
a
side for a
donut
while.
to sit
It
on
won't kill
for a
you.
few days.
It'll hurt
But it
like
won't
hell.
kill you.
No.
You may want to die, but you won't die. So,
All right, I guess that just leaves me, huh? What is my play style? So I have my answer. The thing is, I don't know if I am telling you my play style or I'm telling you a motto that describes what my play style is. But yeah, I'm building it every moment. That's
Yeah,
my
it's accurate.
I'm building it every moment.
Basically, when I do become a DM and I learn it more, I'll probably be the more like do what you want type. You tell me where do you want to go, I will tell you what's there.
There you go.
That's it. Yeah, that's what it means.
And
Build it every moment.
Jim is teaching me all of this, so this is all basically coming from him. I'm learning everything that I can, but I would be like Jim and just go like, I'm just the DM. You do what you guys want. Tell me where to go, what you guys want to do, and I'll describe it. Completely on the group.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So cute.
No.
I would say that I'm on like a little bit of the opposite end of the spectrum on that if I'm like really thinking about it, right? Because as I said, I was putting in like tons and tons of hours into prep for one of my campaigns, and I would over prep for my last one, like horribly over prep. I would spend hours coming up with stuff that would never come to fruition, never happen, and I learned over the course of that campaign where to like cut the slack, what not to prep, what not to do. And what I really learned is like, if you want to have specific things happen in D&D, you as a DM have to make concessions with that. It might not happen the way that you want it to, for one, and for two, if it does happen, you're still not in control. You're still interpreting what the die tells you, because anything else is like, well, you're not really playing a game anymore. You're just kind of like writing a book. And if you want to write a book, that's great. But I have found that I personally feel that the real spirit of the game is expressed when everything is agreed upon. Everything is happening because we've all set our stake to this. These are the rules. This is what makes this game something that's not like any other hobby. I mean, there's other tabletop games, obviously, and they all share this in common. That's why we play tabletop. But you can't really bend the rules of a video game. You can interpret the rules of a tabletop game in such a way that makes the best story. And when you're all agreeing upon it, and then in that moment that it really counts, and the dice agrees with it, and fate agrees with it, well, then it's like, boom, that's like legendary. You're gonna be telling those stories forever, you know? That's what we all play it for, right? We all play it for those moments. So when you prep stuff, prep the details, and then let the form and essence come into fruition at the table. Maybe have a couple names, a couple places. If you're the map making variety, make some encounter maps. But you don't have to have your hands on the reins of everything. I don't know if I would condense that into a statement.
Players pull out the rubber gloves.
Pull out the rubber glove. Pull out the rubber glove. There is a moment in your role playing career when it's unique, it's difficult to achieve, and it's not going to take the manifestation that you expected at all.
Yeah.
I came in here expecting to, sell all those tiny little points about my show and what have you that I had rehearsed a dozen times and manifested again and again in tweets and other advertisements that I've made, but those didn't come. I mean, I told a little bit about my my show, and hey, tune in on yada yada yada. I'm not going to play it right now, but that's not what mattered. That's not what became of this episode. This time I visited Tales of the Tavern, came this solitary moment where a fella I just met made a great joke and had something just behind the curtains. Perfect follow-up.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, there's a lot of things interesting behind those curtains.
More gloves?
More gloves.
More gloves.
Oh,
That's where we
God.
keep them stored.
All
Gloves.
hanging in a row
Yeah.
like that?
Well, we gotta bleach them now and then.
You gotta double bleach them now and then.
Yeah.
It's just where I deal with produce, basically, back there.
Got it.
All right. Well, we are getting to the point where we're almost out of time. So at this point, what I would love to have everybody do is we'll go back around again. And if you could just remind us of, Wolf's Blood. God damn it.
Holy
I quit.
Oh,
That's it. That's We're done.
God. No.
For
You
anybody
did not-
who is watching this
did
on
not-
YouTube or catching the podcast, Wolfie just posted in chat, we just met and this is crazy, but those are rubber gloves, so roleplay maybe.
Jesus, God Almighty!
I quit.
I'm done.
Oh God.
Oh, that was great.
Oh my God. This is gonna haunt me for the rest of my life, I think.
Yeah, all of us actually. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to see about getting that animated emote made now.
Nap.
Yeah,
That's what I agree.
I'm pretty
I
sure
live
this
in
has
Mars.
been solidified in the history of this show. So, Pyrotech says, if I could ban you, Wolfie, I would. Okay, so what I was trying to say before I was so rudely interrupted is I would love to have everybody except Wolfie go around and remind us all of where we can find you on the internet and anything that you have coming up that you would like to promote. Normally I would start going in the reverse order, but I'm going to start with CC this time. CC, tell us again about where people can find you in the interwebs and anything else that you have coming up that you would like people to know about.
Oh my God.
Well, fantastic. I am happy
Lord.
to receive your adulations. Well, I'm CC. I am the creative director behind a Blades in the Dark actual play stream known as I'm Mimetic Mori. We engage in improvisational madness that dares to laugh in the face of chaos. Every Friday at 7:30 p.m. CST on twitch.tv DMDM/studios. But if you want to follow
/DMDM_studios.
underscore, yeah. But if you want to follow my particular brand of unfathomable nonsense, then you'll probably want to follow my Twitter, which is @cc. But yeah, that's my big old thing. I do I'm Mimetic Mori. I'm going to be on Hope's Roll to Know show this Wednesday at 7 CST. So jump onto that, Hope for TTRPG on Twitch and Twitter, and see me do whatever it is I do on talk shows.
Model rubber gloves excellently.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for coming back on, CC. It was great to have you again, and I hope that your Blades in the Dark game goes really, really well. I will hopefully get to check that out at some point. It sounds like it's going to be really awesome.
Please.
Oh yeah.
I love having my friends on my show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Derek, let's pop over to you now.
Sure. First off, I want to say thank you so much for having me on, Luna. This was a real privilege. Great way to spend a Sunday night. I had a wonderful time with you. Thank you for this wonderful show and a wonderful opportunity. So much love. Thank you, dude.
Thank you.
You can find me every day on twitch.tv/DMDM Studios. Coming up next, you can find us on, I guess technically I can't say every day because we skip Monday, but for me it's Monday because I work the night shift. Tuesday at 12:30 a.m. Central Standard Time with Curse of Strahd, Rise of Alma. It's a D&D 5e one-on-one with my boy Ted. On Wednesday at 12:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, you can find me and the Burnt Coin and Redemption VA, and we have a new guest on each week. We have a show that we just launched called Homebrew Homies. We make 5e content. We are working on building a setting from the ground up, and then we are also making a system in the background to go along with that we're going to be converting everything over. Me and Will are working really hard on that. It's called Occult. It's going to be a lot of fun, kind of like a modified D10. On Friday, I'm Memetic Mori, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. On Saturday, coming up, we have Single Shot Saturdays this week. It is our one-shot show that we do every other Saturday at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that's noon, not midnight. The Burnt Coin hosts that. He is a fantastic GM. He plays a whole bunch of different systems, runs through with different guests each week. He's going to be running that this week. A.S. the Mountain is a Call of Cthulhu modification that we run on the same week that we run Single Shot Saturdays, but we will not be running that this week because, unfortunately, I am moving. So Cece's going to be running the stream on Friday. Will's going to be running the stream on Saturday, and then I'm going to be taking Sunday off. But on Sunday, you can find my boy Haven RPG playing a different game with all the people that we normally play Legend of Five Rings with. Every other Saturday... I'm sorry, this is taking so long.
It's okay.
Same schedule for the week after that, but then the next week we have Curse of Strahd Howls in the Mist, which Ampersand D20 is the DM for. That's starring me and Burnt Coin and a couple of other wonderful people in the community. And then Saturday that we play Curse of Strahd Howls in the Mist on, we play Covet Syndicate, which is my D&D homebrew 5e campaign. It's an evil campaign. We do bad things, and we're trying to stop a god from ascending and claiming the mortal realm. Good god trying to claim the mortal realm. They're trying to stop that. Probably not going to go well for them.
Oh my.
That's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Like I said, thank you so much for coming on. It was great to get to meet you, and you have your plate full, so I'm sure I will catch you streaming at some point.
Yeah.
And good luck with your move, too.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Keone.
First of all, Luna, I would like to thank you so much for having me here. It has been amazing. Oh my gosh. I'm going to think about this. Besides the gloves, I'm going to try to forget about the gloves.
Just erase that from your memory. Yeah.
Mine, wipe it away.
Trauma response, just wipe that
Get
right out.
really drunk. Like 10 tots of tequila.
Yeah,
Tots of tequila.
let me see if I have a bottle of liquor here that I can do a mind erase, but let's just see about that. But yes, thank you so much. Anyway, again, I am Keone the Dim. You can find me streaming on Twitter at Keone_the_Dim. I stream every Fridays, as I said, at 7 p.m. Pacific time. I forgot to mention in the beginning, you can find me and Jim the Dim doing our dinner dates and streaming our games on Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And our podcast drops every other Sunday on Spotify, Stitcher, all the platforms that you listen to podcasts with. And again, Luna, thank you. It's been amazing.
Thank you. I am glad it worked out that we could have you come on this week, and it's really been awesome to get the chance to chat with you a little more, and not just in like Twitch chat. So
and see what I look like.
Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait a minute. You watch our stream? You already know what I look like.
I mean, I did, but not everybody else did. So.
Oh, okay. What? Everyone else?
You're a chat celebrity, dude. You're a chat celebrity.
It's true.
Yeah. Got clout.
Clout.
I guess so, guys.
And Wolfie.
Are you sure?
I
you want me to do this? I mean, all right.
Come on, Wolfie.
I'm only sending you half a dozen cookies next time.
Excuse me. I think we've already decided this.
I'm sending Amy a whole dozen, but
there you go.
You just ruined it, Wolfie.
Well, everybody, I am Wolfsblood2012 or 2012 Wolfsblood here on Twitch. I am one of Luna's moderators. I have no idea why, but I am. You can often find me in her Discord, Luna's living room, making the most of it. And next, I'm going to be on Amazon trying to find some rubber gloves. Anyway, what you need to be paying attention to is going to be this Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Time, we will have the inaugural stream of our new Esper Genesis campaign, Esper Genesis Revelations. That'll be over on twitch.tv/Atomic Zero. Atomic Zero is going to take our intrepid crew of the Asimov as we travel to a brand new solar system within the universe and trigger a galactic event that is going to change events everywhere.
Dun dun
And-
dun.
Yeah. Sounds radical.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for coming on and spending your Sunday evening with me. It's been a pleasure getting to have you all here. Even you, Wolfie.
Even you.
Almost got a spit take there. Oh, man.
Almost, but I tell you what,
Missed it. That would have been a good clip. That would have been
the
a
living
nice
room is now lemony fresh.
Yes, and I am Gamer Mom Luna. This is Tales from the Tavern. We're here almost every Sunday night. Almost every Sunday night. I say that because I'll be here next week, and then I'm taking the following week off because I have plans to go hang out in Boston with my daughter, so we're gonna go have some fun doing that. What?
What was that?
Yeah, but you gotta share what you're doing. I mean, that's a thing.
We're going to Gordon Ramsay's new restaurant, Ramsay's Kitchen.
Yo!
Right?
You don't even know, dude. Me and my wife are like obsessed with Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah,
we
me
watch
too.
all his shows all the time.
Me too.
Like,
Yeah.
when I'm done here, I'm going to go watch Next Level Chef. Like,
Oh, this week's episode
We
is
need
good.
to watch that.
I watch
and Jim
literally.
have to
I always joke about this, but for anybody who has Pluto TV, which is like one of those free streaming services, one of the channels on there is an uncensored Hell's Kitchen channel. It's just 18 seasons of Hell's Kitchen, uncensored, 24 hours a day. Yeah. I watch it a lot.
I am turning my TV on right now, after we're done, and I'm gonna go on Pluto and watch that.
There you go. So we're big fans of Gordon Ramsay, and so when I heard he was opening a restaurant, I jumped on the email list and happened to catch as soon as the reservations went live, and we were able to get a reservation for Sunday the 20th, and so we are beside ourselves excited. We will
Congrats.
not be ordering the $145 42-ounce T-bone. No, not T-bone. Tomahawk steak, but they do have one on the menu. So
We actually have a Hell's Kitchen restaurant here.
that's right. I remember that. Yeah.
It says Caesar's Palace. It's Hell's Kitchen,
Yep.
and it's exactly like it.
Yeah. That's what I've heard.
I've actually been to the Hell's Kitchen in Caesar's Palace once. Gordon Ramsay's got some good food, you know.
Oh yeah, he does.
I tend to prefer the performing affectation of Julia Child over Gordon Ramsay because he's just such a Julia Child.
And welcome to the French.
Oh, all right. Well, yes. So every Sunday night, just about, except for February 20th, because I'm going to be eating very good, very expensive food, and yeah. Otherwise, if you missed any of tonight's stream and you would like to go back and rewatch it, the VOD will be available immediately after, or you can wait for it to go up on YouTube later this week, or catch it in Ears Edition next Sunday when it makes it up into podcast form. It is also available on Spotify, iTunes, and anywhere you get your podcasts, so you can take a listen there. If you happen to listen on Spotify, we do have video podcasts available, so you too can see the rubber gloves. And
Gloves
Oh,
are coming off.
that's it. That's it.
Gloves are
They're
coming off.
off.
It's done.
We're gonna go over and raid my friend Todd Moodbounce, who is playing some tabletop RPGs. He launched a stream on Sunday nights playing the Mothership system, which is a horror sci-fi system, and it's a lot of fun. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. So we're gonna go over there and say hi, and I hope you all have a great week, and I will catch you all next Sunday night when we have a brand new set of guests. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a great one. Later days.
Later.
Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Tales from the Tavern. You can catch this podcast recorded live every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific at twitch.tv/GamerMomLuna. All of our questions come directly from chat, so we never really know what to expect when we go live. If you ever have a question or would like to add something to the conversation, feel free to reach out on Twitter at GamerMomLuna and use the hashtag TFTT. You may just get to hear it answered. Thanks so much.
I should go.